The question that we get asked is, how does plastic plumbing work, i.e. the water feed rather than the water waste situation. Here's a piece of plastic pipe. This is, of course, we're not on site. We like to do a lot of videos on site because it makes it completely real. We're not on site at the moment. We're shooting a series of short videos in the studio and demonstrating the bits and pieces. This is a piece of plastic pipe. You can see that is so easily bent. Round corners, under floors, round walls. It's getting very, very popular. Here's a similar piece of copper pipe. You need a machine to bend that. You need a pipe bender to bend that, and on all sorts of fittings to get to the places that you need to get to. Plastic pipe allows home improvers especially to get to places much more easily, much more quickly. It's quite a bit more expensive than copper pipe and copper fittings, so most tradesmen don't use it. However, sometimes it's the only thing you can use to get into awkward situations, so you know, we certainly don't discount it. And now that it has all the appropriate British standards to be used in central heating and everywhere else, it's perfectly safe. So the pipe itself, we're just going to deal with a 15mm pipe. Of course, this plastic pipe has been used underground for water for donkey's years now, and any number of other things. So this is a 15mm water supply pipe. And this is how it works. So the first thing that we're going to do, instead of a normal compression or soldered fitting onto a piece of copper pipe, plastic plumbing comes with its own type of fitting. Now there's lots of different people, suppliers for this. There's Speedfit and John Guest, and all sorts of different they all operate on pretty much the same principle. Okay, the end of the pipe is placed into, in this case, a straight coupler. Is placed into a fitting. The fitting is tightened onto the pipe, and the washer, which I'll show you in a moment, goes around the pipe, and the connection is made. The watertight connection is played. Very, very, very simple and very effective. However, what a lot of people haven't realised, and some of the questions we get are, "Oh, my fitting is dripping." Well, the inside of this fitting, as you will see in a moment, grips the end of that pipe quite tightly to stop it leaking. Okay, so it needs to form a watertight seal. Now, by pushing in on that pipe, because it's plastic, it isn't quite as rigid as the copper pipe. So there's a little bit of flex there. So to stop that flex and give us an end, a watertight end to our work, we can put what's called a pipe insert into our pipe, push that into the end, and you can see that that's slightly rounded. I'm hoping the camera can pick that up. The end of that pipe is slightly rounded, much the same as an olive, a brass olive on a piece of copper pipe. Has the camera got that? That's brilliant. Okay, and then, whoops, I dropped the olive. Then we undo the fitting, and making sure that we push the pipe completely into the fitting, we then tighten up 2 or 3 turns, and that there becomes a watertight joint. Now the beauty of these fittings is that you can also use them with copper. So cutting copper off at any point, and we will show you how to stop the water coming out of that while you get everything ready. Cutting the copper pipe can also go into these plastic fittings. That again is tightened up, and there you have a watertight coupling between either plastic and plastic, or in this case copper to plastic, or indeed copper to copper. Okay? One of the major differences between using this plastic fitting and other videos using other fittings that we'll show you, mostly end feed copper fittings where the solder is fed into the end of the fitting, and solder ring fittings, also called Yorkshire fittings, is that these can be removed very, very simply without cutting the pipe at all. So you just reverse the process, simply undo the end of the fitting, and there's a small collar here. Again, I'm hoping the camera can pick that collar up. That's pushed in to release the jaws, which will release the pipe. I'll show you the workings of that inside in a moment. but that's how simple it is. So these can be reused time and time and time again if required. And the common place that we use plastic fittings is if we're renewing somebody's kitchen or bathroom and we need to give them a temporary water supply to another part of the house so they can have a wash or whatever while we're putting in their bathroom. And these are absolutely ideal. We can tap into the existing water supply using plastic pipes along the surface. We can run water to anywhere in the house as long as we can get a waste pipe out again. And these fittings, and then of course when we finish we simply strip down everything that we've used on a temporary basis. So that's how plastic pipe works. Now inside of that fitting, I'm going to show you the various bits and pieces. We have the thread that the outside goes onto. I'll drop that again. Okay, so you can see how that fits on there. I've broken the stop, which allows me to take this completely off. You won't be able to take that completely off on a lot of the fittings. And you can see from inside there that we have the grip that takes so I can push the pipe through there, but I can't pull it out again, because that locks automatically onto the pipe. I can pull it out, however, if I use the collar that I showed you before. If I push down on the collar, that allows the pipe out. Okay? So that's the grip. I'll put the pipe back in the grip for a moment. Okay? And then, within the body of the fitting, in here, there is a rubber ring, a ring washer, and then in this case a plastic washer which strengthens that rubber and stops it slipping out of alignment. Okay, so you can see that as I push that through there, the first thing that happens is the pipe goes through the plastic washer. So we'll put that on the pipe. I hope the camera picked that up. So that goes on there. Then of course we go into the rubber washer. So let's tip that back. So that's what's happening there. Can we see that? Has the camera got that clearly? And then this whole lot goes into the fitting, and we push that in as far as we can go, put the top back on and screw that tight, and we then have a watertight joint. So that's what happens inside a plastic pipe fitting. Very simple, very effective, and obviously completely watertight. So we hope that's we hope that's helped you understand how plastic plumbing works. The important thing is not to forget the pipe inserts. I've dropped the pipe now. So yeah, don't forget the pipe inserts. They're obviously not necessary with copper pipe. It's very, very much easier to use copper pipe with plastic plumbing, plastic fittings, if the pipe is cut with something called a pipe slice, because the pipe slice turns the end of the copper pipe over and makes that end much smoother than if you tried to cut it with a hacksaw. But that's another video using a pipe slice. And that's how plastic plumbing